Okay, so this right now is my 5th upload consecutively, once a week. And I was recently asked by somebody I know, how do you become more of a creator and less of a consumer? There's 3 typical things that I do that help me kind of change from like just consuming constantly to also being able to actually make videos and upload semi-consistently. And I know it's only been 5 uploads, but I think this is advice that could be really useful for beginners and people that are still struggling and learning as they go, like me. Before we get into that, I want to address a problem that I have right now, and that's the fact that I have camera stuff everywhere, like on this shelf and this shelf, tripods here, and this bag is full of camera stuff. And I got stuff on this side of my desk, and I got more stuff on this side of my desk. And of course, you know, I'm using the camera as well right now, so that's more camera stuff that I gotta figure out. So while we talk, I'm going to be building this IKEA furniture thing. It's the Basogel. I don't know how to say it, Swedish, but it's the Basok thing in black. This will house all my camera stuff from now on in one convenient place. That way, instead of worrying about losing an SD card, which happened to me recently, I can focus more on just making content and continuing to improve the quality of the stuff that I make. Also, I am loving the magic arm. I just recently picked one up and it's been fantastic. If you guys want a whole video about the magic, I can make a whole video about the magic arm and just rant about it. So the Racksanova, they got instructions, but like, I think we could figure this out without the instructions. I need a screwdriver. One sec, I'll be right back. All right, screwdriver secured. Let's start rasagging this thing. The first step, in my opinion, of kind of converting yourself from a consumer to a creator is, yo, this might be kind of difficult. It's showing me things I don't understand. This started off way harder than I expected because, okay, so this is the one with the non things. Doesn't matter which direction. Okay, there's the dot direction. Oh, so the dot direction is on the inside. And then this is the thing with the things. It goes like this. Okay, I'm figuring it out. I'm smart. I can do this. I'm just too smart for this. To be more intentional with what you're consuming to begin with. So I think like, it's not to say that we shouldn't consume, because as creators and as people in general, consumption is part of our society now. It's part of what we do in our daily lives. We send each other videos, we send each other memes. So it's not realistic for me to be like, oh, delete TikTok completely off your phone, or delete Instagram, or delete YouTube. Like, that's just not a realistic answer, in my opinion. And I think anybody who, if you want it to be sustainable to where you can actually still enjoy time on social media and, you know, be in the know with your friends and share memes, then I think you need to kind of like be okay with realizing that, hey, you know, I can still spend time doing this, but I think it has to be more intentional with what you're doing. For example, yes, I watch YouTube, but I also watch creators that are very influential to me and that I can be inspired by. Or like, can I scroll on TikTok for a couple hours? Of course, but can I also watch a movie in 2 hours and learn from it and look at acting and look at directing and look at stories? Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I mean by be intentional. Know what choices you're making when you're consuming. It's easy to get lost in 2-3 hours of brain rot. It's harder to be like, okay, for the next 2 hours, I'm going to watch this. And if that's TikTok, that's TikTok. If that's a movie, that's a movie. But you just have to be intentional with the time blocking that you do in terms of consuming. Y'all, we're Bob the Builder up in this, because what do you mean I just screwed something in and I did it so beautifully? I'm just too good for this. IKEA ain't got anything on me, man. Look at this. Oh my God, look how tiny this screw is. Very small. And I have to figure out a lot of those. If I'm doing this whole thing wrong, I'm gonna be very, very upset because it should not be. So far, it's a little too easy. If I mess it up because of that, I'm gonna be a little upset. It looks like we have a building structure. I'm very proud of my progress so far. So step 2 would be to block out specific times that you are setting aside to be creative or that you're setting aside to consume. So, for example, I watch a lot of movies. As you guys can see, follow me on Letterboxd. But I do watch a lot of movies. When am I going to allow myself to watch a movie? It's only after I've done an hour of work, for example. So if I do an hour of writing, whether it's video ideas or thumbnails or video titles or even script writing for like a short film or whatever it is, after I've done an hour of that, or let's say 2 hours, however it is, I am then allowed to consume a movie that day. So typically, like, I'm usually working, I have a full-time job, so I usually get home around 6 o'clock, which means typically from 6 to like 8, I'm usually doing creative stuff or trying to, and I know it's not perfect. So those who know me in personal real life, don't come at me. This is all about what I want to be doing, and it's a progress, and it's everybody's learning together. Talking to you, talking to my brother, talking to my dad, those who live with me. Don't call me out in the comments. I don't need that. People know. Block out a few hours to do your creative journey work, and then block out then a couple hours to do your consuming work. Because consuming, again, now that we're more intentional with our consuming, we're not gonna be consumer hungry. Yes, I wanna watch this movie, but it's not like, oh, I'm gonna just doom scroll TikTok for 3-4 hours. No, you're going in with intention. You know how long what you're consuming is going to be, and that way you can actually block out your day to prioritize the time of being creative first, and then add to it the time of consuming and watching content. We're getting ready to put in our first little, looks like it goes pretty low actually. Are they bigger baskets or are they all the same size? Because I feel like, you guys see that there's like a little, like if you set it down here, there's like a gap right here that could fit like a whole finger. If that gap still there when we're done, I don't know how this is supposed to work. I don't know how this is gonna work. Is there a specific size? Oh, it says 1, 2, and 3. Oh wait, they are different sizes. Oh my God, I figured it out. Yes, I'm supposed to put number 1 at the bottom. Oh, that's snug. See, now that's a snug fit. What am I supposed to use for that one? I'm just yapping, aren't I? Guys, we figured it out. It's really not that difficult. I get to use the tool they provided. Look at that. Guys, IKEA thought of everything. These people, man, the Swedes are onto something. I would be not a good cousin if I didn't share the fact that, speaking of IKEA in Sweden, you know, they don't serve their people food. Like if you have like if you go to Sweden and you're a guest, right? They don't serve you food. They don't there's no hospitality of food or like a drinks. I don't know if it applies to drinks, but I know they don't serve you food. So if you ever go to your Swedish friend's house, you're gonna starve, I guess. I'm just tightening out here. I'm just making a basket. There's gonna be a basket full of camera stuff. I think, when do I stop tightening? When is too tight? How do we know? How is that supposed to be answered? How do we know how to answer that? I think that's good. Now time to do the other side. Not to say step, but something that really helps from kind of changing from a consumer to a creator is having creative friends. For example, like I have friends that want to get into streaming and they've been consistently streaming. I have friends that do music and produce music. I have photographer friends. I have video friends. And I think having friends in your inner circle that tend to be creative kind of drives you forward to be creative as well, because it's almost like all 3 of y'all or 4 of y'all or whatever, it's almost like everybody's on the same kind of wavelength of wanting to be on this creative journey. And so what happens is, when you have friends who are creatives, a lot of your conversations tend to also be centered around creativity and making videos and creating and whatever field or genre you're in. That conversation starts shifting more towards that way naturally, because that's what you guys are wanting to do and that's what you're passionate about. So instead of being like, oh hey, did you see this TikTok? It's usually like, oh hey, did you make that TikTok? Did you see the TikTok I made? What do you think about? And that drives more, that puts creativity on your forefront of the mind, as opposed to a reactionary thing that you may be like, oh, you know, talk about later. Again, not saying Get rid of all your friends that are not creatives. I have very close friends that don't have a single creative bone in their body. However, what I'm saying is nurture those creative friendships, because those creative friendships end up lifting each other up. Now this is the final and most important aspect of changing from a consumer to a creator. Enjoy making what you make. I think a lot of us end up being in the cycle of consumption, constantly watching TikToks or constantly watching YouTube, because we are seeking dopamine. And if you start gaining your dopamine from making stuff, from making videos, from streaming, from taking photos, from editing, from making music, whatever creative, from painting, drawing, whatever aspect of creativity you are a part of, if you start getting constant dopamine hits from it, you're winning. That is the key and the absolute most important factor in changing your mindset from consumerism to creativity. And now I have to go and figure out how to organize all my gear in this 3-tier basket. Thank you guys so much for coming on the journey with me to create it. I hope any little bit of what I just said helped you. If not, you know, I'm still learning too, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below, what advice would you have to new creators if you're a creator yourself? And if you're not a creator, ask me questions about becoming one, and maybe I can have some sort of answer, or if I don't have it, I will ask around and get you the answer. Otherwise, subscribe if you like. I will be posting more videos, hopefully a regular weekly schedule. Is that too much? Am I promising too much? I don't know. We're 5 for 5. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next video.